What more would you want with a view like this? Welcome to Taste of Home, where my husband and I share our journey about homesteading, either in a backyard setup in our Johannesburg home or here in the story. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a little.
Yeah, so we're just looking at the stands for Old Mucho, their service, they got roads, they've got sewer systems.
This is not exactly what we were looking for. We wanted something bigger to accommodate our plans. We searched everywhere for a property we could afford at the time, something that would give us enough space for our vision. We wanted somewhere to start a project of aquaponics at a large scale. Aquaponics is a sustainable system that combines raising fish with growing plants in water. The fish waste provides nutrients for the plants, and the plants naturally filter the water for the fish. We actually experimented with this system successfully on our balcony in Johannesburg. If you are curious about how that worked, you can check out that video through the link in the description below. Using free online resources, we designed our own plan and created a 3D model of our vision to implement aquaponics on a much larger scale. We spent hours researching and planning, drawing inspiration from Dr. James Rakocy's work at the University of the Virgin Islands. If you are interested in seeing our design plans, we've included a link in the description. After months of searching, we finally found a location in Domboshawa, Zimbabwe, for our homestead to build this vision. We were ready to be all in on this project and potentially build our retirement home around it, creating a sustainable living space where we could grow our own food and live closer to nature. The property's dimension matched perfectly with the size requirements for our aquaponics system plan. It felt like everything was aligning just right. We were so excited about this piece of land. It had natural beauty, good soil, and was located in a peaceful area with enough rainfall for our needs. We started developing it immediately using the resources available to us at the time. We began by erecting fence posts to mark the boundaries and provide some security for the material we would bring in. We would often daydream about how our lives would look once we had our project up and running on our homestead. We imagined waking up to the sound of birds, tending to our fish and plants, and eventually retiring in a peaceful setting. The plan was simple. Dig a well, gather more bricks and necessary materials, and start building our dream home. The builder camped on site to keep the material safe whilst building, and the work started. Here are a few clips of the builders at work. At this point, we were using water from a nearby river which was drying up but still had puddles of water here and there. There was no immediate need for a well at the time. The builders were making good progress, and we were excited to see our vision starting to take shape. Things were going according to plan until the river finally dried up. We had to immediately get the well dug to avoid buying water for building. Work resumed. However, it was only for a short time. We put the project on hold as there was a lot of uncertainty at the time in Zimbabwe. We decided to focus our investment funds elsewhere. You can check out our video about the property we started working on in Johannesburg instead. During one of our visits, we reassessed the situation on the ground. We decided to keep the project on hold a bit longer. It was a difficult decision, but we felt it was the prudent thing to do at the time. When we returned, the place had become something like a mini Great Zimbabwe ruin. Nature had started to reclaim the land, with vegetation growing over our initial building. The partial built structure stood as silent reminders of our post dreams. We needed confidence to revise our decision, so we started watching lots of YouTube videos about building in Zimbabwe. A special shout out to Archie and Sammy and Living with Louis, now called Mugove and family, for inspiring confidence in us again. We get to feel the taste of home through your channels, which is actually why we named our channel Taste of Home. These Zimbabwe-based YouTubers showed us that despite the challenges, it was still possible to build and create something beautiful in Zimbabwe. With newly gathered momentum, we decided to continue building, but with a slight change of plan, which we'll talk about in detail in our next video. Our first task was clearing the land by burning the overgrown grass that had taken over during our absence. The place had been left untouched for years, so the vegetation had grown quite wild.
Oh, we bent Wanda. Structure. You said go up what gym? Said go right? Ah, okay. Ah, bet. Lizatofamba so. Patopfura. Vana mambosvika pamba pacho kapfumbire kari kuita pasi pedwa kupfumba kuri kuita pasi apa kuratidza kuti there is something chiri kupinda
imomba
saka udeva I would advise kuti not only kutizira maibva kuteri moro zvinoita manje kana ari vakomana vanofamba nedumba which wandiri kuti most likely ndiwo anopinda ino ndokuona apo panoita kuti ndakaona pakafundira kune zvimwe zvapashawaniki nekuda kwekutsvakwa paita akamema kuda kupinza kanda something makati zvakafanana
ngendivhure ndine key yepa esangana nazo
atombonzwa
utsi
Thankfully, there was no snake inside after all. The builders had returned to the site to continue the work, and they started with constructing the septic tank. This was an important step in establishing the basic infrastructure needed before we could proceed with the main building. The septic tank base had been completed, which marks significant progress in our infrastructure development. Now that you know our story, kindly subscribe to the channel to learn more about our future plans. In the next video, we will give you an update from our recent visit and explain in detail where we are going from here. See you in the next video.